Today I'm going to make a basket inspired by Jane Birkin's basket. I have made this shape before in brown willow, but today I'm going to make it all in white willow. I spent a bunch of time earlier in the summer processing all of this white willow. Each stick I ran through a tool called a brake and stripped off all the bark. So this stuff is very, very precious to me, so this basket is going to be extra special. Right now I am pre-selecting all of my willow so that I can soak just what I need. So this is white willow and I need to soak it for about an hour before I can weave with it. It's the really nice thing about white willow as opposed to brown willow, which is willow that has the bark on it. Brown willow needs to be soaked for 3 to 4 days, even up to 2 weeks depending on the temperature of the water. I believe Jane's basket was made with straw, so it won't be an exact replica, but it'll be pretty close, I think. Okay, so I've taken the willow out of my soaker that I need to make the base. And I'm starting on that. White willow is so different to weaving with brown willow, like I usually weave with. So Jane Birkin was a fashion icon, still is a fashion icon. She passed away in 2023. She was from France and she was a singer and an actress. And she was very often spotted carrying a very cute basket like the one that I'm trying to recreate today. And that basket was purchased in Portugal. It was a fisherman's basket. And she'd even wear it on red carpet events. My understanding of how the Birkin bag came to be was that Jane Birkin had her iconic basket and her partner, with whom she had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with, ran over her basket intentionally with his car, which is so sad. And so 3 days later, she was boarding a flight. She had a bag with her. And as she was putting the bag in the overhead compartment, all of the contents of her bag spilt. The Hermes guy, I honestly don't remember his name, saw this happen, and they were talking about an ideal bag for Jane Birkin. She drew her ideal bag onto a puke bag, and the Birkin bag was born. Right now I'm just adding my braids to my base. These will get folded up. Jane Birkin was often seen carrying around her Birkin bag, very full, covered in stickers and keychains and scarves, and the bag quickly became one of the most iconic bags. Now it's very strange. You have to have an appointment and buy a bunch of stuff from Hermes in order to get a Birkin from the store. I guess they kind of have this exclusivity thing going on. So right now I am doing a weave called 3-rod wale. Typically I only do 2 layers of 3-rod wale and then some randing. You can see on this basket here, waling, randing, waling. But here I'm doing all whaling to kind of emulate the texture of Jane's basket. Jane apparently requested to have her name removed from the Birkin because of some of the practices that they use to obtain their crocodile or alligator leather. I don't know which is actually used for leather. Anyways, right now I'm adding these in. These are spacers so that when I do my border, I can easily insert my handle. And just choose where that's gonna go. This is an important step. And now I'm going to throw this whole basket into my soaker. My uprights are quite dry, and in order to do my border well, I'm going to want some well-soaked uprights. Okay, so I think I'm going to soak it, do half the border, and then re-soak it for a little bit more. Seems kind of crazy, but I really don't like having so much water in my soaker tank. Okay, I've moved over here. I've been hosing down my basket and wrapping it in a black towel, taking lots of breaks. This is honestly really challenging. Borders are always challenging, but with the white willow, I just haven't like gotten a handle on it yet. So it's going okay though. Okay, now I am inserting my big handle pieces. And I'm using my awl to make a good space. So on Jane's basket, the handle was a bit bigger than how I usually like them, but I think it works on this shape. Yeah, so I think I'll do something like that. So I'm just attaching that's a raven, the handle like wraparound pieces to make a nice chunky handle. This is the second attempt at this. My first attempt, all the pieces were cracking and splitting, much like happened on my border and some of my weavers too. It was a little bit frustrating. because I hadn't experienced that when I had worked with Willow, White Willow in the past. And what I realize now, because I switched over, I picked some White Willow from a different bundle, a bundle that I believe is a Salix purpurea or a Salix triandra, I can't quite remember. But the Willow that I peel this year is Salix alba. And maybe it's just not a good species for White Willow. I'm gonna talk to the person who gave me all that alba and see if they had a similar experience. It works fine for the trays that I make because I don't have to bend it that much, but with weaving a basket, I would not use the alba White Willow again, unfortunately. But luckily, this other stuff that I just happen to have a small bundle of is working great for my handle. Oh, as I say that, this is what was happening, like every single piece on the alba. I think it's fine though. All right, I finished her. She's definitely more short and stout than Jane Birkin's basket, but I really love this shape. Feels very useful and practical, and kind of has a similar vibe to Jane's basket. I learned a lot weaving this basket. It was my first time weaving with White Willow alone. The only other time I've woven with White Willow was in a class with John Cowan while I was in Scotland, and I learned a lot about soaking times and not using the alba White Willow for my uprights or for my handle. Luckily the handle I could change them out, but your uprights you're stuck with. So I definitely have quite a bit of cracking on my border, but that's okay. It's my first time. I'll show you some of the details. Got a nice braided detail on the handle that I always love to do. And yeah, there she is. Thank you so much for watching.